Hello, my name is Eliza Ong, and this is my final presentation for governing digital technologies. In this recorded presentation, we're going to discuss how structural and procedural dimensions of an IT function can enhance or hinder the governance of digital technologies. To start off, let's talk about what we'll cover today. IT governance isn't just about what specific tools or systems are used. Key to the topic is who makes decisions, how they are made, and how control is maintained as the organization adapts to circumstances or grows larger. We'll focus on the key concepts of IT governance and enterprise architecture, as well as go through commonly used frameworks, models, and processes. Later on, we'll look at a case study of two different organizations, NAB and the SME market lend, which my group covered in assignment 2. Last off, we'll finish with recommendations and a conclusion. First, let's start with the two important definitions. From Gartner, we know that IT governance is defined as the processes that ensure the effective and efficient use of IT in enabling an organization to achieve its goals. While this definition is from more than a decade ago by this point, this still holds true. Doesn't matter which technologies are currently hot or trending or what specific platforms an organization is running, as the underlying governance principles remain the same. Secondly, enterprise architecture is defined as a practice which analyzes areas of common activity within or between organizations and where information and other resources are exchanged to guide future states from an integrated viewpoint of strategy, business, and technology. This means that simply enterprise architecture provides a structured way to understand how the organization works today, how it wants to work in the future, and how technology decisions can bridge that gap. To enable digital governance, organizations often draw on well-known frameworks such as COBIT, ISO 38500, and ITL. There are others, but these are some of the most commonly applied. These frameworks aren't meant to be followed rigidly, but act as adaptable toolkits. Most organizations customize them to suit their unique structure and goals. These frameworks are also supported by broader and other theories of organizational design and control. For example, Galbraith's style model emphasizes that structure, processes, people, and incentives need to align with strategy, whereas Mintzberg organizational structure types explain how authority, decision rights, and communication flows vary between organizations. When we apply these ideas to IT governance, the underlying key message is that governance must match the way the organization actually works. A highly centralized organization will naturally centralize IT decision making, whereas a more decentralized or agile organization requires governance that allows autonomy at the edges. If these are misaligned, governance either becomes ineffective or actively obtrusive. Before we go into analyzing IT structures, let's briefly introduce NAB and Market Lend. NAB is one of Australia's largest banks, operating in a highly regulated financial environment. Its IT functions centralized, meaning that decisions, processes, and standards are controlled centrally. This gives the bank strong control, consistency, and regulatory compliance, but it also means that things are hierarchical and decision making slowed down and organizations are less agile. Market Lend, on the other hand, is a small fintech community that does financial lending to other SMEs. It's got just 28 employees. Its IT function is decentralized with teams aligned close to business units. This allows the company to innovate quickly, adapt to customer needs, and make faster decisions. Trade-off is that there's a higher risk of inconsistent processes and challenges in ensuring organization-wide compliance. With this context in mind, we can now look at IT, how the IT structures impacts governance, and how the IT practices shape governance outcomes. Just like theoretical frameworks and their related concepts, there are also quite a few IT organizational models. Let's look at centralized models first. Centralized models are, like we mentioned, common in large Australian banks or financial institutions like NAB or Westpac or Combank. In a centralized IT model like NAB, Decision-making, processes, and standards are tightly controlled from a central IT function. The main strengths of this approach are strong controls over IT strategy, high consistency over departments, and easier compliance with regulatory requirements. Trade-offs include slower decision-making, less flexibility for individual business units, and a tendency for innovation to be stifled by rigid processes. In other words, centralized IT gives you stability and compliance but reduces agility. Let's contrast that to decentralized IT as seen as at market land, which is smaller. This allows for faster decision making and solutions that's tailored to the specific needs of functions or teams. These encourages responsiveness and innovation because the people closest to the problems can make decisions quickly. Risks include inconsistent processes across the organization, challenges in enforcing organization-wide compliance, and potential duplication of effort. Hence, decentralized IT trades some control for agility and adaptability, which is key to a lot of SMEs. Finally, there's the hybrid or matrix model, which we'll include here in a general sense. This combines elements of both the centralized and decentralized IT approaches, which promotes collaboration across functions and projects while maintaining some degree of central oversight. Key strengths are flexibility, cross-functional collaboration, and ability to respond to changing business priorities fairly quickly. Trade-offs may include reporting lines, potential conflicts between functional and project managers, and need for strong coordination and communication to prevent confusion. What's common through all three models, though, is that governance is shaped by structure. Reporting lines clarify accountability, decision rights define who can authorize changes, and cross-functional teams improve alignment, but only when there's strong coordination. The key takeaway is that organizations must align their IT structure to their unique governance needs, and they must balance control, compliance, and flexibility based on their size, industry, and strategic goals. Now, let's move on to evaluating both companies' processes and practices. Starting with NAB, the bank uses a formal ITIL-aligned change management process. Changes are documented, reviewed, and scheduled, which reduces the risk of system instability. This is critical in a large, highly regulated financial environment. Vendor management relies on structured procurement processes, ensuring that vendors meet strict security, privacy, and regulatory standards, although this can increase onboarding time and costs. For risk assessment and compliance, NAB employs a comprehensive risk management framework built around three lines of accountability model with oversight from a board risk and compliance committee. This ensures that risks are consistently identified, escalated, and managed. NAB also maintains formal government committees that cover key areas matters. Marketland, by contrast, follows a lean iterative change process, allowing faster deployments and close collaboration between technical and business teams. Vendor management direct and efficient, connecting investors and SMEs quickly. Risk and compliance practices are scaled to small size, and governance relies on a mix of informal and formal committees, which allows faster decision making but with fewer levels of oversight. When we compare NAB and Marketland, we can see how their IT structures and practices influence outcomes. Thus, IT structures are a key differentiator. NAB has a centralized IT function with top-down decision making, which ensures strong control, standardization, and alignment with regulatory requirements. Marketland has a decentralized structure embedded within business units, which allows for faster decision making and responsiveness but may create inconsistencies. NAB's formalized practices such as ITIL aligned change management, structured vendor management, and board level risk oversight support stability and compliance, but may slow innovation. Marketland's lean iterative change management, direct vendor engagement, and scaled compliance processes enable agility and innovation, but rely heavily on good communication and discipline. Governance committees at NAB are formal and cover key areas which reinforce accountability, whereas market-led uses a mix of formal and informal committees to guide decisions, giving speed and flexibility. After examining both companies, we can now propose some targeted recommendations. For NAB, introducing agile practices in low-risk projects would allow faster innovation and more responsive delivery without compromising on regulatory requirements. Strengthening cross-functional collaboration between IT and business teams would also support better alignment and help the bank continue improving its digital maturity and scalability. As for market-led, formalizing core compliance and risk management processes would help reduce operational risk as the company grows. Clarifying IT decision reporting lines will also improve accountability while still supporting the organization's agile and collaborative working style. Finally, one recommendation applies to both companies. Investing in digital monitoring and analytics tools would provide real-time visibility into change management, compliance, and risk. To conclude, IT governance is not just about the tools or frameworks used, but about who makes decisions, how those decisions are made, and how control is maintained to support organizational goals. Organizational structure has a significant effect. NAB's centralized IT model, as contrasted to market-led decentralized model, serve their respective goals. Key practices such as change management, vendor management, risk assessment, and governance committees shape how governance works in practice. NAB's formal processes reinforce oversight, whereas market-led's lean and agile processes support faster innovation. The proposed recommendations focus on balancing control and compliance with flexibility, while considering each organization's size, culture, and digital maturity. Overall, effective digital governance requires aligning strategy, structure, and operational practices. Only when this alignment is in place, organizations are better positioned to manage risk, innovate, and achieve their strategic outcomes.